Friends, are you ready to tell spooky stories in front of the campfire? I brought my campfire, but I'm going to set it out of the way so that way I don't burn my fingers. Remember, I got to keep my hands a safe distance so I don't burn my hands. I also brought a marshmallow so I can roast it in front of the campfire. All right, and one other thing. It's really nice to have a flashlight when you're telling spooky stories because usually you tell them at nighttime where it's dark. So that way people can see you when you're telling this story. I'm not going to use it the whole time, but I might use it when it gets kind of spooky in our story. All right. Once upon a time, there was a farmer named Farmer John. He was a very busy farmer. He had to feed the chickens, milk the cows, shear the sheep, and tend to the vegetables. He was so busy that he decided he needed some help. So he hired Mortimer Pumpernickel to help him out. Mortimer did not have a place to stay, so Farmer John said, "You can stay in my barn. I have a nice place for you there. But I have one rule. Do not mess with the door that is in the floor." He said, "Don't mess with it." It was Mortimer's first day, and Farmer John helped him to get settled with a nice place to sleep and a place to put all of his things. After he was all settled in, he reminded him, "Whatever you do, do not open the door in the floor." Mortimer exclaimed, "I most certainly will not." That night, Mortimer had a hard time sleeping because it was a new place and because, well, he was kind of hungry. His tummy was growling. He began to wonder about the door in the floor. It was a big metal door with a round knob on the top that if you were to pull it up, it would open the door. He started to get kind of curious. Maybe there was food down there. After all, he was hungry. So despite Farmer John's warning, he wandered over to the door. First, he knocked. He listened. There was only silence. No one knocked back. Then he slowly creaked the door open. Creak! And he found some stairs. He took his flashlight and crept down the stairs quietly, one step at a time. Can you count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When he got to the bottom of the stairs, it was very dark, but he knew he was in a hallway. He crept silently down the hallway, his flashlight lighting the way. When he got to the end of the hallway, he saw a door. It had a yellow sign with a picture of an animal in front of it. What does a yellow sign mean? Do we remember? And I wonder what that animal is that's on the door. He didn't know what the animal was, but he was pretty sure there was probably that animal on the other side. He squeaked the door open, squeak, and he saw before him a cage with a big purple gorilla. It was asleep. He knew he probably shouldn't, but he just couldn't help himself. He just needed to touch the gorilla. So he stuck his hand in the cage and very carefully went to touch the gorilla's fur. It looked like it was probably very soft and fuzzy, so he wanted to touch it. The gorilla's eyes shot open, and he stood up. He was very, very, very big. He reached for the handle on the cage and began to creak it open, and Mortimer got scared, so he ran back down the hallway. And he went up the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as he climbed back up through the trapdoor, the gorilla raced up out of the door as well. He reached out his big gorilla finger and he booped him on the nose and he said, "Tag, you're it." "What?" Mortimer let out a sigh. Phew, the gorilla had only wanted to play a game. Just then, Farmer John rushed in. He scolded Mortimer for letting the gorilla out. He said, "Peanut the gorilla is very friendly, but she is also very big. Sometimes she accidentally knocks things over, and sometimes it scares the chickens. Then I spend all day trying to put the chickens back in the chicken coop." Mortimer and Farmer John came to an arrangement. Peanut the gorilla was allowed to stay with Mortimer in the barn, but Mortimer was in charge of teaching Peanut things like good balance and slow, controlled movements so that she would be less likely to break things or knock things over or scare the chickens. They became very good friends and played games every afternoon. But whenever they played tag, they always made sure to go out in a field where there was a lot of space and nothing to knock over. So you see, my friends, sometimes things that we think are scary are only scary because we don't know what it is. It might be a shadow or something behind a door or something under our bed. Oftentimes, when we find out what's really there, it's not that scary after all. Also, it's important to make friends with people even when they're different than us. You may find out that you have much more in common than you thought, and you may end up having lots of fun. Happy camping. Have fun. Maybe you can come up with your own spooky stories to tell with your family. Have a great day.